welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be looking at some of Felicity's craft stuff. In this case, we're going to be looking at her fashion studio. So this came out, let me pull up my recording. When did her fashion studio come out here? The fashion studio came out in 2008. This is definitely not for younger kids. I'm not letting my 6-year-old have a hold of it no matter how much she wants. Just because this is a lot of stenciling. It is, and I have opinions on the history. So the fashion studio, here, I'm going to pull up the entire box. I have some of the pieces out here. Again, this is probably the most complicated video I have for this. So this is what it comes. You can find these used. This is where mine came from. I found it on eBay. As you can see, it comes in a box. The first portion of it has the color wheel and talks about different colors. And then behind this, you'll see some of the stuff I'm going to bring up. So, again, some of the history is iffy. So it comes with a book. So here's the little book. So this is her fashion studio. This is going to give you bits of the history as well as certain clothing things. So you cut out. There are stencils in here so you can cut out the different problems. So it comes with the paper doll. So here is Elizabeth or Felicity in her shift. And it comes with this stamp, which is some sort of flower thing. I think it's the flower that's on this dress here. I don't own this dress, otherwise I'd bring it up. So, and it comes with a little stamp here. And then, I have no idea what these things are. It comes with some of these little, tiny little square stickers. And another folding thing, which I think is to help. Oh, this is to glue. This is the handle of the back of the doll, of the paper doll here. So, it comes with patterns. Basically, it comes with patterned paper rather than already pre-cut. So this is in the paper dolls because the paper dolls come with everything that's already done. So it comes with like different two-sided patterns of more like fabric than the pre-paper dolls. And then it comes with the stencils here. So I have this is a stencil of the dresses. So if your child is really into learning how to sew and cut out patterns, this is a great place to start. So that's really what a lot of this specific craft set is good for. It's for learning to cut out sewing patterns. So they can learn how to do this. They would draw this on as a stencil and then they would cut out. My daughter does not have the skills to do that. I'm not sure I have the skills to do that. I'm trying to learn to sew. And I just have to find the time. And it also comes with stickers so they can color them. Again, my daughter does not have those skills quite yet to do that. So she is not going to be getting a hold of this anytime in the near future until she has a heck of a lot more control. So here's the book. So this is a little fashion studio book. And it comes with all the instructions. You're the designer. It talks about the accessory stickers and the paper. It comes with piles of paper. It comes with fashion stencils. It comes with a design stamp. It comes with a color wheel, the paper doll, and the sticky dots to make it so you can change the clothes. Okay. And the fashion accessory stickers. And you will need scissors, sharp pencil, blank paper for sketching, felt tip marker, brush tip marker, which sold at stamping and scrapbook stores. I have no idea what that is, for the rubber stamp. So I'm guessing that's coloring the stamp. Crayons, colored pencils, markers for coloring different stickers. So that's what it comes with. It talks about the patterns and things and how to cut things out in the beginning of this book. So it's really talking about how to be a designer, and it's showing different stuff about clothing design and how to do this stuff for Felicity. And it does talk a little bit about things. So it talks about either shoe will do. So this is the first history portion because at this point in time in history, the shoes were what's called single last. So they didn't have a left or right. I will look into, at the end of this video, I'll link some videos from Nicole Rudolph, who makes shoes. She actually did work at Colonial Williamsburg. That is where she learned a lot of her craft. So I will link that in the description so you can learn a little bit more about those. It does talk a little bit about, now this is what I do not like, and this is where my opinion comes in. Uncomfortable undergarments. So it is showing a picture of the stays where they're pulling them tight. One thing, not possible at this time. They could not pull them tight like this because you need metal grommets to do that. And they didn't exist. So, and her stays were not uncomfortable. They were corded. I do not believe they had whalebone. No, those are not the type of stays. Again, these were not corsets. Even the term corset did not, I don't think even existed yet. It didn't come into fashion. I think it's either for another decade or so, or it might even be not till Kirsten's time in the 1850s. I have looked this up before, but I'm not sure. But the term corset didn't exist yet. And the metal grommets to make this tight didn't exist yet either. And women just did not do this. Yes, Felicity might complain about her stays and her skirt, but that wasn't really normal, typical for a girl back then. So yes, they kept their back straight, and it helped support their skirts. So she would be complaining no more about her stays than she would have been about a training bra at this age. So, and that's really what corsets were. They were the bras of this time period. So I have my opinions. I would prefer corsets compared to a girdle, but that is neither here nor there, and we're not going into that. And that is my disagreement here. It's also talking a little bit about how she would be wearing her stockings, and it does talk about the pockets, and yes, the pieces of clothing presented here are available. You can find them used. I own them for Felicity. The pocket hoops were actually going out of fashion at the time. So when it comes to the doll herself, they definitely go with her blue dress. She would not have worn them with her riding habit. I'm not going to go grab those. I do actually own those. Mine are just old because I've had them since I was young. And no, I did not have Felicity. I just happen to like the outfits. Kirsten was my doll. And then it talks about the pockets they would tie around their waist. And yes, that was what they did. But it's also showing the different clothing. It does talk about how she would just put her clothing on over her shift, which may or may not have been true. We're going to get into a little bit of fashion history. They were not dirty. Their shift was typically made out of linen, maybe wool in winter because it absorbed the oils of the body. They did not take full-on baths because it wasn't practical back then. You didn't have running water. It would have taken a lot. So they wiped them. Basically, they did what we would call sponge baths, or they would wipe themselves down. They were very clean. Yes, they put powder in their hair, but we're talking, this is the stuff that's similar if you're familiar with dry shampoo. It dries out the oils, and then they would brush it out to get the dirt and the oils out of their hair. So they were very, very clean. These were not dirty people, no matter what we like to think. But yes, their underclothing was something they would change quite frequently because that's where they would, basically the oils of the body. No, Felicity would not have been wearing clothes drawers because it would have been a pain in the butt to go to the bathroom. So yes, underneath all those layers, there was nothing down there. That is just the way it was. But no, again, it was not indecent. They were wearing a lot of, they had petticoats. So it was not indecent. It was just, that was just the way it was. She would not have been doing that. In fact, women did not do that for a while. Caroline, which is the next doll that I'm going into, is the War of 1812. She wouldn't have done it. I don't know about Kirsten. I'd have to look into the fashion history of the dolls following that. But again, I will link 2 channels of YouTubers that I trust who did work at Colonial Williamsburg, who have a lot more information on this than I do. So that would be Abby Cox and Nicole Rudolph. They have a lot more information if you're interested in that. So, and then it is talking about the it does talk about the fanciness of the clothing. You see, this is a copy of the blue dress that she has. So, and it does talk about the stomachers here, which allowed them to change things out a little bit. Felicity's gown does have this, though, if I remember correctly, it's the gown that the doll has isn't exactly period accurate. All right, sorry, another cut. My child is now looking at this. This is what happens. It's 8:55 in the morning on a Sunday. So, moving on. So here's the rest of the book. It does talk about a little bit of the fans and stuff. You can see the different outfits that you can cut out. It gives you full instructions. It is talking about outdoor outfits. It does talk about Felicity having to ride side saddle. Yes, they did. In the film, it shows her. She does get scolded for Ross in the film for riding with her either leg on side of the horse. It was considered unseemly. So, and inappropriate for women of her time. So it does talk about cold weather warm-ups where they would wear gloves and they had muffs and stuff like that. And of course they have capes. I do love the capes. I wish we could bring back capes. In fact, I actually bought a cape for myself for Christmas. So, and then again, it has the show off your style thing. So, this is a fun thing, craft thing, if your child is really good really interested in learning fashion, and tracing and creating their kind of own different outfits, doing different fabric patterns, and if they want to learn to sew. So this is a really good thing. The fashion history is dubious. Again, so it has some historical value and some not. I would definitely take this one with a grain of salt. Of the Felicity stuff that I have reviewed, again, these are some of the last videos I'm shooting. Of the craft stuff, this is probably the most inaccurate, I would say. But that's because it's taking in a lot of stuff that was thought. Particularly, again, I have a big pet peeve about the corsets. They would not have been that tight. They were comfortable. They helped with back support. I do not know if, I don't know if they were doing the whale boning yet. Felicity most certainly was not. She was way too young. They could be kind of restrictive, but the men's clothing weren't that unrestricted either. Yes, they had pants. The back of their pants had buttons. So they could go to the bathroom as well. I might leak one of videos by a British designer who does historical clothing, who actually talks about how to go to the bathroom in these. So I will link some more accurate videos here with this that I do highly recommend, that will talk a little bit more about the accurate fashion history and the corset stuff, or the stays. In this video, we might do that a little bit more with Caroline and Kirsten. I do think Kirsten has a fashion studio. I am going to quickly double check if Kirsten has a fashion studio. It's very varied when it comes to Kirsten. I am looking. I don't think Kirsten has a fashion studio. I will, in fact, double check, but I'm not seeing it on my list. So, and I'm not sure how complete that is. In fact, I'll go back. I think I have a better list. Let me scroll down here. Let's see. Fashion studios, fashion portfolios, or the fashion studios. I have to look to see if Felicity has a fashion portfolio and the differences. No, Kirsten does not have either one of these. So the next doll to actually have one of the either fashion studios or fashion portfolios it looks like it's Samantha. So, but I will try to cover some fashion stuff for those specific time periods. So, if you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. There will be 2 videos this Wednesday because I am going to be covering her theater kit as soon as I finish this video. So I will be finishing up. Felicity will be here in February. We will follow by Caroline Abbott, who's the War of 1812, and her cat Inkpot, as my 6-year-old does it. Third cut. Sorry. 6-year-olds are irritating. And this is what you get for filming it. Now it is 9:01 on a Sunday morning. Okay, so again, if you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I will be covering Caroline and her cat Inkpot next. That will be in March. I haven't gotten started on her. I will probably get started on her soon. I am filming in January. I'm trying to stay on top of things this year as opposed to last year because there is a lot to do. And then we will be going on to Josephina, and we'll be looking at Cecile and Marie Grace, followed by Kirsten, and then we'll see. Hopefully my 6-year-old is making noise. But nonetheless. So, and you can check out the rest of the channel because I have a lot more videos. But again, like and subscribe. Leave a positive comment if you have one, and I will see you next time. Thank you.